unofficial Universal Orlando podcast is a member of the Mice Chat Podcast Network. MicePod.com. Now, discover the universe, one theme park at a time.
Greetings, Universal fans. It's time for the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, discovering more about the Universal Orlando Resort as well as Universal Studios Hollywood, Japan, and Singapore.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 88 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, brought to you in association with Mice Chat and sponsored by Fairy Godmother Travel and Florida Ticks. Joining me today are Lee.
Hello.
Tracy.
Hello.
And Hunter.
Oh, hello there.
Hey, all. All right, before we get started, it's time for the news update.
Hey everyone, it's Tracy here with your news update. If you're heading to Universal Orlando this weekend for Mardi Gras, there are no concerts being performed, and the concerts don't continue until May the 3rd. Universal Studios Japan have announced that their Wizarding World of Harry Potter will officially open on July 15th this year. And speaking of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the Today Show announced that they were going to broadcast live from the Wizarding World tomorrow, which is Friday the 25th, and speculation was abound that they were going to announce the opening date of Diagon Alley, but we've heard that the broadcast is now being cancelled. Right, we'll take a quick break and then it's back to the show.
Diagon Alley is opening at Universal Studios Florida this summer, and we know all you witches and wizards can't wait to visit. So let our friends at Fairy Godmother Travel deal with the muggles and resort reservations. They are Universal Parks and Resort specialists as well as an authorised Disney vacation planner, and their service is free to you. From the new Cabana Bay Hotel to those other hotels run by a mouse, Fairy Godmother Travel can book all your Orlando area vacation needs. And make sure to let them know you heard about them because of UUOP. Because every UUOP referral helps us continue to bring you the best Universal coverage. Contact them today by phone at 832-284-4002 or toll free at 888-939-642-539. Or alternatively, go to fairygodmothertravel.com. Let Fairy Godmother Travel make your next vacation magical.
Hey, all you UK UUOP listeners. If you're heading out to Universal Orlando this year, then you're going to need tickets, right? Then what better place to get them than Florida Ticks? They deal in all Universal Orlando tickets, as well as tickets for all the other Central Florida attractions. And the best thing is they're open 7 days a week, have no credit card fees, and send out real tickets, not vouchers. Contact them today at 0800-980-5552 or visit their website at floridatix.co.uk. That's FLORIDATIX.co.uk. And let them know you heard about them on the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Welcome back. Now, the number 88 holds a special significance in my heart, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners as well. What I'm referring to, of course, is episode 88 of The Simpsons. That special episode where Marge feels she's too bossy and enlists self-help guru Brad Goodman to help her out, leading to the whole town adopting Bart Simpson's freewheeling outlook on life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, I love that one.
Nice shorts, man.
So today we're going to be talking about, we're going to be taking a look at the Simpsons ride, which opened on May 2nd, 1991. Specifically built for the Simpsons franchise, this building still houses today what was one of the most advanced ride systems of the time. Tracy, you remember your first ride on the Simpsons?
Oh, I really, really do. Now, it was good. I was a bit late to the game, really. It was 2005, 2006, I think, when we were over there. I just remember being so excited just because it was such a colourful building and everything. You know, and getting through all of that and getting on the ride, I was so excited I could barely sit still. You know, the ride goes, and it's so bouncy and creaky and colourful, and it was so much fun. And I remember being in the queue line, and...
hang on. I've got the map in front of me here, and something's not reading right to me. Because the park map I've got here that we brought back says it wasn't The Simpsons there.
What?
Yeah, it says it was Back to the Future.
What?
This is heavy.
Yeah, I mean, it's fading in and out. I bet Old Krusty has something to do with this. Look, quick, we've got to get into the time machine and prevent this legacy from fading away. Come on.
Lee, you built a time machine? Out of a Pteranodon, a DeLorean?
Well, yeah, the way I see it, if you're going to build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style? Besides, the stainless steel construction makes the flux dispersal...
No more time for talk. We've got to go back.
All right, everybody in. I'm setting the coordinates to May 2nd, 1991. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, don't worry, guys. I brought some CDs.
Awesome. Got Huey Lewis in the news?
No, I've got New Kids on the Block.
Yes!
Okay, that'll work.
Right, let's get this radio turned on, see if we can hear something about what's going on with this ride.
Welcome, everyone, to the unofficial Universal Studios Florida radio show for May 1991. Joining me are Lee,
Hello.
Tracy,
Good morrow.
and Hunter.
And I'm very excited to be with you all.
All right, so we're going to kick off with some news.
All right, so first thing first, Universal Studios Florida is coming up on its first anniversary and continues to have operational problems, as is typical at this point. You'd never see these issues at Disney. Jaws continually has downtime due to an issues with the turntable portion of the ride, and we've heard that Universal are considering taking that part out of the attraction and replacing it with something that will be much easier to maintain. We are also hearing that they are considering removing the shark explosion at the end and replacing it with a scene from Jaws 2, which is the unadulterated classic, the electrocution.
Ooh.
Oh, that would be totally radical.
So Confrontation also continues to have massive downtime, but Universal are hopefully turning that around and getting it to operate on a more regular basis.
I'm sure they'll get it down.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, most likely not. They're going to replace it. Also, Earthquake, the big one, causes as many problems as Kong and Jaws due to its operational downtime. Guests can still be seen complaining about coming to the park and not being able to ride two of their landmark attractions, which is why Universal is still considering such drastic measures like the jaw change.
I'm sure they'll get it all sorted
Oh, yes.
eventually. This is the thing with putting rides into the park that are groundbreaking.
Very true.
Yeah?
Yeah. Now, we have heard on the grapevine that Universal Orlando are looking to bring a Halloween event to the park. Can you imagine that?
Halloween?
Wow. I know. So
I thought only Satanists celebrated that.
Well, apparently not. Now, in 1986, Universal Studios Hollywood had a small event, which is basically the Terror Tram. Well, we've heard that Universal Orlando are wanting to do a similar event, and the rumoured name is Fright Nights.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah.
What, after that film?
Yeah.
Okay, with Peter Vincent. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil.
That was a classic.
Charlie,
That's right up there
you're
with Jaws too, man.
yeah.
Charlie, you're so cool. I know you're so
I hid
cool,
under my
Brewster.
blanket.
Well, even if it's Halloween, you still have to ride the movies, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So now we've heard very little details of the event, but what we have heard is there'll be some sort of walk-through house and a show of some description that we're hearing may revolve around the Bates Motel, and the event will include some type of street experience. Wow.
That
That's
interesting.
radical.
Yeah,
Seems like something I'd be really into.
that's really
Yeah.
groovy, guys.
Well, following on that, Universal recently have added 4 new attractions to the park. The Blues Brothers Show,
Oh, my favorite.
the Street Busters,
Oh, that was awesome. I just went and saw that recently.
the Screen Test Home Video Adventure.
Home videos are the way of the future, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've only just got a Betamax now.
Really?
Yeah. And How to Make a Mega Movie Deal.
Wow.
So, even though their blockbuster attractions may be experiencing problems, they are looking to add more value to your ticket.
Awesome.
Yep. Fill in that space. And I really like the live shows and things that they do there, so I'm glad they're adding more.
Yeah, and it's really something that I hope Universal continues to have as their parks get older.
Yeah, definitely.
Not shove out of the way for, big attractions or anything.
Definitely.
Everybody likes
And
live
that's-
entertainment, don't they?
Of course, definitely. We're going to go ahead and move on to our main topic here. This week, Universal Studios Florida opened a new major attraction in the back of the park, and it's based on the Back to the Future trilogy of movies.
Back to the Future, the ride officially opened on Thursday last week, May 2nd. I would like to pass it over to Hunter to walk us through the ins and outs of the attraction in Fact Hunter.
And on that note, hello and welcome to a new Fact Hunter. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I'm very excited to be back. And at any rate, stay alert. If Tannen gets his hand on some of the equipment around here at the Institute, it could mean the end of the very universe as we know it. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your visit. That, of course, goes back to the theme of the episode, which is Back to the Future, the ride, which was a simulator ride based on and inspired by the Back to the Future film series. It's also viewed as a mini-sequel to 1990's Back to the Future 3. So a couple of quick statistics about the attraction, a little bit of information. So, of course, it originally opened in Universal Studios, Florida. That was on May 2nd, 1991. The area, of course, was in World Expo. It closed, unfortunately, on March 30th of 2007 and was replaced by the Simpsons ride. The ride lasted a total of 4 minutes and 11 seconds. A little bit of back history about Back to the Future. The idea of the Back to the Future attraction was first discussed in a 1986 meeting between Steven Spielberg and Peter N. Alexander, who was the president of the Totally Fun Company. And that was at the Universal Studios Hollywood backlot on the eve of the debut of the King Kong encounter scene for that infamous Park Studio tour out in Hollywood, of course. Spielberg recalled how his friend George Lucas, who, as we know, is a good friend of Spielberg's, had just taken him for a ride on Lucas's Star Tours attraction at Disneyland, which had just opened. Lucas made the remark that Universal could never create rides as good as Disney can. So Spielberg requested that Alexander see what he could do with a simulator ride concept for Back to the Future, which was a huge financial success, very popular film for the Universal Studios. So at the time, there was a proposed concept for the Universal Studios project, and that was put on hold due to it just not being viewed as feasible or anything. But according to Alexander, Spielberg's suggestion helped bring the project back to life. So in traditional kind of Fact Hunter setting, first I'm going to go over kind of like a brief summary of the ride, describe exactly what all that was about, and then I'm going to go into some more detailed facts about the attraction. So the ride, of course, opened up with the setup/cue videos, which were featuring characters from the film trilogy. These, of course, were Doc Brown, Biff Tannen, and Marty is featured. However, I've noticed by watching videos, Marty is you never see his face. You only see him from a faraway distance, or you see his head's kind of cut off in a lot of the shots. I'm not sure if this is due to legal purposes for Michael J. Fox, but still very interesting regardless. So it does open up with those characters, which are Doc Brown and Biff Tannen. So somehow, due to an error made by Doc Brown's time travel cruise, Biff Tannen stows away and finds himself at Doc Institute's of Future Technology. There he tries to locate Doc's flying DeLorean, as well as cause plenty of mayhem for Doc and the Institute's crew. Just as each party of Institute volunteers, hint, that's us, the park guests, is getting ready to take Doc's 8-passenger DeLorean on a journey across the space-time continuum, Biff complicates matters even further. He locks Doc in his lab and steals the original DeLorean time machine, causing Doc to worry about the possible ramifications of Biff's joyride through time. Unable to escape the lab himself, Doc devises a plan and recruits the volunteers to help, using the 8-passenger DeLorean to chase Biff across time. If the 8-passenger DeLorean gets close enough to Biff, reaches 88 miles per hour, it can bump him back to the present time. So using his remote control, Doc sends the DeLorean's party to follow Biff into the future, back to the Ice Age, and even into the heart of an active volcano that existed in the primeval Hill Valley. Eventually, after a couple minutes, Doc is successful in bumping Biff back to the present, where he crashes back at the Institute. So here's some very interesting facts that I was able to find. A special shout out to resources, of course, things as simple as Wikipedia, the Back to the Future page, Jim Hill Media, the Studio Tours website, and so many other resources. Now, there isn't as much kind of like on-ride facts available. The attraction was renowned. Not much was actually changed from opening until closing. Not like Jaws, which went through very, very many variations and things like that. However, there's a lot of interesting facts specifically about the technology used to make the ride come to life. So the ride film was reported to have cost about $40 million to produce and involved straight 2 years of work. So in 4.5 minutes, guests will travel back in time 4,000 years, 25 years into the future, and once again, back to the present. Now, Back to the Future was really, really special for Universal Studios Florida at the time because we really had nothing on that side of the park. So that opened up the World Expo area. And keep in mind, this is before Men in Black or anything. So the Back to the Future building stood a staggering 13 stories tall. So it really had a huge presence and command on that side of the park. What I think is particularly interesting is that even though the film was made in 1989, before computer-generated imagery really came to a front, none of the actual film contains any CGI whatsoever. So the effects in the film were produced using traditional optical techniques and a multitude of highly detailed models. The miniature sets were extremely large. For instance, the replica of 2015 Hill Valley, a lot of the buildings were as large as a half-grown man. And the T-Rex model, of which there were 2, stood about 7 feet tall. So considering I'm 6'3", it's a little tall. Here's just a fun tidbit for you. You can actually see in the final scene where you return to the clock tower, due to them using the models in the attraction, you can actually see that a styrofoam cup is sitting besides the clock tower. You can still definitely see that if you go back and watch the special features on the DVD or anything like that. You can definitely keep an eye out for it. Also, check it out on YouTube. So what's really interesting about the attraction is that it was really the first major theme park attraction to incorporate a ride system of its kind using the IMAX screen. So at the time, it housed the world's tallest twin IMAX theater domes. It might still hold that record, actually. So each Back to the Future IMAX screen covers twice the area of your average IMAX. Each of those screens actually weighed over 12 tons, and they took about 6 months each to construct. Now, Back to the Future is also renowned for its sound system. It was pumping 10,000 watts of sound throughout each dome. So to accompany those massive sound systems, 23% of each of those screens were actually composed of holes. And each screen had over 72 million holes to allow that sound to really ring through in each of the domes. So the Back to the Future ride system itself, the DeLoreans actually had to be subjected to the same testing procedures as NASA's space station, the United States Armed Forces fighter planes, and missiles, and the space shuttle. Very, very interesting. A lot of work went into those. So Back to the Future at the time was the first successful integration of motion-based and simultaneous filming. So the ride program was created to be in perfect sync with the picture, guaranteeing a totally realistic experience. Now, at the time, that was really, really revolutionary. It's become so adopted throughout various formats. You see it on a smaller scale, even across the park over at Minion Mayhem, but nothing on the scale of Back to the Future was around at the time. Speaking of the cars themselves, they were, of course, staggered on 3 tiers, and, of course, they were staggered to prevent riders from seeing the other vehicles in the theater. Of course, that was ruined if you looked over to the left or the right or even managed to look behind you, which is still a problem that plagues The Simpsons to this day. But the front section of the cars actually rose about 8 feet out of the garage when they were flying. So you were pretty high up there, but the actual range of motion from the simulator base was just about 2 feet in any direction, so you're not really flying all over the place. And of course, during the trial phase of the attraction, the ride was actually tested in the IMAX theater inside the Expo 86/Science World, which was in Vancouver, in British Columbia. Now, as we all know, The Simpsons did replace Back to the Future back in 2007, but in homage to the attraction, they actually took comic book guy. They gave him Marty's jacket from Back to the Future Part 2, so he got to wear that on the construction walls and everything. Doc Brown is also featured in the Q video, which is kind of making fun of it. So he actually goes back and attempts to borrow money from the loan office to save the Institute of Future Technology. However, Professor Frink crashes back in time in a DeLorean and crushes the banker, and Doc is upset that he must sell the Institute of Future Technology to that mercenary clown. Now, of course, that kind of wraps up my Fact Hunter today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to doing more of these segments for you. And even though I did take a hiatus from the show for a while, I'm looking to go back into the attractions that we kind of just did while I was away, just did a brief walk the walk. So if you guys have any ideas for a Fact Hunter that you'd really like to see, I'd love to dig around and find some more of that for you. And of course, now right on back to the show.
All right, thanks for that, Hunter. And so Back to the Future, the ride is now open. Go and check it out.
This is weird. We have to go in case our past selves see our future selves.
I mean, yeah, that could be totally disastrous and change the future completely.
Yeah, Lee, let's get out of here.
No problem. Right, everyone, get buckled in. We are going back to the future.
Still got my CDs, yo.
That's the power of love.
All right, we made it. Man, it's weird to think that the ride has been closed down for 7 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, going there the first time, my first visit to Universal, that's the key thing that stuck in my head out of everything. I was a huge fan of the movies then, still am now. I'm glad to see that more recently they're actually adding some Back to the Future merchandise back into the stores.
All right.
Excellent.
Yeah, you can buy the DeLoreans, and you can buy them individually or as a 3-pack set. So that's pretty neat that it's coming back a little bit.
Well, I know even the Lego, you can get Lego Back to the Future stuff now as well on this, so it is becoming more pop culture again.
Yeah.
Yes,
That
it
means
is.
that parents are doing their job.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I don't think. I think Raymond's seen a couple of them, and Jade definitely hasn't seen any. I think I was picking your mum up a while back, and the second
My
one
mum.
was on, and that's like. I'm not a huge fan of the films, but I sat there because she was getting ready for ages, and I watched about. And it's like she was like, "Right, are we going now?" I was like, "No, I want to finish watching this now."
And I think it really speaks. Doc Brown is still a character that gets a huge reaction from all the guests and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I adore seeing Doc Brown. I always get the best interaction with him. I love it.
Well, I think
Yes,
this,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time, just sitting there, of course, by the DeLorean, looking at it longingly, wishing that another movie would come out or something.
Fun fact, Darren and I are together at the parks the other day, and we're walking by Animal Actors, which of course is right next to where the train and the DeLorean is. And we actually move forward for about 20 seconds to look back, and Darren's just kind of lovingly staring at the DeLorean.
well, there's a pretty cool picture from I think it was the day of our meet, Darren, with you and Thomas and Doc Brown.
Yeah, yeah, that was great. He took down the chain and let us, put hands on the DeLorean, which is awesome.
It's on our Facebook page, actually, if you want to go and check it out. I'll post it up again, but Thomas posted it in the thread for this show, actually. So it's there.
Brilliant.
I'll be honest, we rode it when 2004 once
Yeah.
the only time it was open when we
think
went
so,
over.
yeah.
We only rode it once, and even with
No, I've ridden it twice.
no, we've
I've
only
definitely
ridden
ridden it more than once.
No. And I tell you what, how old it was that we rode it with Express Pass when it was free, and we still waited 25 minutes for it, and it wasn't busy. That was September 2000 was the day of Halloween Horror Nights, the first one we went to Halloween Horror Nights, and I'll be honest, I don't remember a great deal of it.
It's a slow loader. I know that much because even now with The Simpsons, it takes so long
Yeah.
and it seems like there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a slow loading system, but
Sadly, my memories of it are being able to see across the whole ride and see all the other ride vehicles.
yeah,
And
the profile of your vehicle is a lot lower than The Simpsons is now.
Yeah.
I think that's something they've looked at, haven't they? And
Well, I
sort
know
of,
it was a big complaint, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
it took you out of the moment.
you still can. I actually did it. Well, I think the last time we rode The Simpsons, I stuck my head out and
Yeah.
you can see, but it's not as obvious as it was.
Right.
I do remember the I don't know what you call it, the coloured misty bits as you were going back to the future. I remember that.
The T-Rex is about the only bit that stuck in my head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because I remember
T-Rex,
being
the
scared to
ice
death of the T-Rex.
flows.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ice flows, everything. Yeah, you can find it's also on the Blu-ray set. They've got the whole ride remastered, and you can watch it. So I've got all the preview videos, and I was also able to find them on YouTube as well. So if you want to take a look, just search that up. Back to the Future, the ride.
Isn't that D-Box enabled as well, I do believe?
Yes, it is. If you can somehow get that set up.
Yeah.
if you're gonna buy one for your house,
Yeah.
it's a couple $1,000 for the one chair.
That'd be cool, though. You just get someone to just go on a chair and get your mate to stand behind you and rattle you about a bit.
It's exactly how we're going to do it from now on. At the next
Yeah,
meet
what
and
I'm gonna
greet,
do-
we will be offering rides.
I like it. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just put it on your phone.
I'm gonna try to bribe the local theater manager and see if he'll put it on for me.
That'd be cool. So all we do is the next meet at the parks with the UUOP, it's like we'll have it on our phone and they'll just hold the phone in front of your face and someone will stand behind and wobble your chair about.
Pick your favorite host, and we will shake your chair. All the money goes to give kids the world.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yep. We asked our listeners what they thought of the ride. The first one was Darren Smith, my English counterpart there.
I do find that
love-
funny.
Yeah. Love this ride. Certainly it was bumpy. Being a tall guy riding in the back usually resulted in a headache. It really should have been given a good refurb rather than an unnecessary overlay. Simpsons isn't bad. It's just different, but it doesn't matter how much tacky facade. That's why you gave they stick on the building. It will always be Back to the Future to me. I'm with you, Darren.
So Craig Lucas had this to offer. Brilliant, iconic ride that died way too soon. It could have lived on with a refurb to the 4K HD over time. Even 3D would have worked, and you only have to look at Star Tours to imagine a multi-storied ride. Is The Simpsons a better use of the ride? No, it's just a different use. It's good, but not better. I'm blessed I got to ride it in 1993 and 2001. I believe Back to the Future is Universal's biggest ever franchise, at least to me and Darren, and deserves more than a token nod in the parks, which is really what it's been relegated to, unfortunately.
It all comes down to the space in the parks. It's different. You know, everyone says that Disney hangs on to their iconic stuff and Universal gets rid of it. And it's just a matter of they have to because they haven't got the space that Disney have.
And that's
So
totally
when it's your
unfair.
thing, you're so bitter about it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they're putting all the stuff in I like, so I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
And that's totally unfair to say Disney's gotten rid of their fair share of iconic
Yes,
stuff
they have.
anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Horizons.
Most people say that was horrendous.
Body.
Oh, it's fan space, though. So I've got one from Melanie Brookbank. My mother and I were lucky enough to get a chance at the Back to the Future ride during its soft opening. I want to say it was sometime in April of 1991, if I remember correctly. We were both huge fans of the movies, having seen them all in the theatres the weekend they opened, sometimes multiple times. We were thrilled at the chance to get an early preview of the ride. The building was so huge and impressive. At that point, the queue was not fully complete, but we did have the video previews and the safety stuff for the ride. The ride itself, also high-end and impressive, that huge screen was something we'd never seen before. But there is one thing I will say. By the opening of the ride, they had toned the movement way, way, way down. And when we got off the ride, we were both impressed with the technology, but feeling a good bit woozy from all the thrashing about. By the next time we went, the ride had officially opened and had been toned down to the version that everyone remembers. We were still able to enjoy it, at that time with less wooziness.
That's quite
I
interesting.
want to go on. I want to go on the super woozy version.
It's funny because
Super woozy.
those type of rides
That's my rap name.
seem to be the types of rides that people can either ride or they can't ride, and it's weird that like motion simulator stuff that some people can't ride them without getting ill. And I suffer from motion sickness, and they don't bother me in the slightest, which is weird.
I don't think you suffer from motion sickness.
Do you remember when we went to Alton Towers and we rode Air and Nemesis back to back? I sat there
belly.
green for an hour.
You rode the carousel just fine.
This is true. And one fish, two fish twice.
I didn't think I had a problem. Then I rode the teacups for the first time last year.
Yeah, that's one thing I will not go
Don't
on.
ever go the teacups with me.
And Storm Force.
I can't spin
That was
them
another
fast
one that
enough.
got me.
What are you talking about? Stormforce is like the most elaborately themed attraction in the entire resort.
Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
So this one's from Keith Chandler, and he says, I loved it. I would love if Universal did something new with the property in 2015. If they can bring back Kong in a new way, perhaps they can bring it back with an updated experience.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Rachel Bowden said, iconic. Though it was a little bumpy, it was also my dad's favorite Universal ride. Her dad sounds like a good guy. Yeah.
Maddie Hamilton says, this was my favorite ride at Universal. I went on it as a child and teen and returned in 2005 with my children, brother, parents, and 80-year-old grandmother, and we all went on it together. In 2007, I returned, made a beeline for this ride, and I was heartbroken to discover that it had been replaced. My gran passed away 2 years ago, but one of my best memories was sitting beside her on the ride and watching the childlike delight on her face. I don't know why they took away this ride, as to me it totally sums up everything that Universal Studios is. It turned a movie into reality, and even now when I think of the parks, this is the ride I still think of to this day. It's just not the same without it. I'm the biggest Back to the Future fan, and can't wait to have my pick taken with the car this year, and fingers crossed the doc too, as I have something very important to tell him about the flux capacitor.
What a lovely little story.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh. I've got one from, and now I apologise in advance if I mispronounce your name. Please tell me how to pronounce it. This is from Andy de Metele, and he says, "Painful ride. Ah!"
I will apologise in advance for this one as well, because this one comes from Derek Bergen.
Yeah.
He says, I may be in the minority on this one, but I think people's fondness for the great Back to the Future trilogy of films makes them nostalgic for a ride that wasn't very good. The queue was one of the worst ever designed and certainly the least interesting one made since Epcot opened. The ride itself was okay and it was great revisiting the Back to the Future world, but is it really that much different from the critically reviled Disney? I can't even read tonight. The critically reviled dinosaur at Animal Kingdom. Disney fans can make a case that the replacements they got for beloved attractions like Horizons, which is funny got mentioned already, and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride don't live up to their predecessors, but Universal replaced Kong with Revenge of the Mummy, Back to the Future with The Simpsons, and Jaws with Diagon Alley. All massive improvements to the originals in almost every conceivable way.
I'll agree.
It does have a point.
I'll take the bullet. I will agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for the whole subpar ride part.
I think in 1991, yes, I'll agree, it maybe was groundbreaking in that time, but that ride was open for 15 years, 14 years. That technology was way, less advanced 15 years later. So I think when it opened, it was probably amazing that people hadn't seen something on that scale before. But once you start getting into the 2000 and what we've got going on now,
but they didn't
even The Simpsons probably doesn't. I think it's only because people have such a love for The Simpsons that people enjoy it as much as they do, because the ride system's not that good, let's be honest.
They didn't take Spider-Man
The animation
out.
is awesome, though.
Yeah. But I'm saying as a ride system itself, it is very dated.
But
like people go on, Craig went on about Star Tours. I rode Star Tours twice when we were over there last time. I'll be honest, I wasn't that impressed with it.
Mm-hmm. What I was trying to say is they didn't take they didn't take Spider-Man out because I can't think what I'm trying to say. The what's the screens? What you looked at, that stuff. The 3D was crappy. They just redid it and
Spider-Man's as relevant now as it's ever been, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, it all goes back. I'm a big proponent for the story element. I think as long as you have a good story, that really carries each individual attraction anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do we honestly think Back to the Future had a better story than The Simpsons?
I think
Maybe,
at
maybe
least
not.
a comparable one.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes right along with the movie, like your previous comment said. It goes right along with the movie. It involves something that happened in the movie. That's Biff stealing a DeLorean and going back.
Yep.
But I think at the same time, The Simpsons doesn't require. Now, the Back to the Future didn't as well, at least to the huge extent. But I think The Simpsons allows you don't have to have a huge knowledge of this attraction or the story to really enjoy it, you know?
But
no,
that's
agreed.
where-
Everyone gets the idea of visiting a standalone theme park, Krusty Land, and they have rip-offs of other famous attractions and everything like that. Now, Back to the Future, I'm not familiar who Biff is or any of this.
Shame on you.
Well, I mean, for acting as the common guest.
Yes, but that I put that on the parents. They
But
are
they
classic
also introduce
movies.
him in the required pre-show video.
Mm-hmm.
Just
True.
as they do in The Simpsons with who's this crusty guy? No, I know, whatever. The thing is in the what I think makes a big difference is in the Back to the Future ride, you were the hero of the story. You got in the DeLorean, you bumped Biff, you brought him back to the current time. In the Simpsons ride, you are just along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like the comparisons that have been made between Spider-Man and Transformers then, whereas Spider-Man, you're kind of viewing the action, whereas in the Transformers, you're part of the action.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can
That
see,
is
I'll
true.
agree with that point, Darren, yeah.
That's what I think, anyway. Okay, I'll go on with the next one here. We got from Chris Rook. He said, "Hi guys, I only ever rode Back to the Future, the Back to the Future ride once. As much as I love the films, you're all gonna hate me, but I much prefer the Simpsons ride because of its re-rideability. Is that a word?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
At least amongst the theme park community.
Definitely.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think the time we rode Back to the Future back in 2005, the ride had better days, so we probably didn't see it in its best light. Best wishes, and thanks for a cracking show. While you're wrong, I do think you have a great opinion on podcasts." No, thanks for that, Chris. No, I mean, everybody's got valid points about it. I know I'm a ridiculous super fan of the movies, so I'm going to have a way different opinion than everybody else. So,
And I think that applies to any of us. For instance, I know you guys have a very subpar or less than enthusiastic response to Jurassic Park, but I have such an affinity to that franchise and those films.
I've said
See,
it's
it's the
not...
books for me.
Let it slide.
My problem isn't, I like the films. I don't think they're amazing. That's not my problem. My problem is there's nothing in that land to keep me there.
Which hopefully we'll be seeing some changes to pretty soon.
And
Let's
I've
not
just
go
read the
into
books
rumours.
that
We did enough of them last week.
And not opening a topic, just as an aside.
Yes.
This one comes from Thomas J. Wagner. Universal Studios Florida, ride the movies. What a ride this was back in 1995 when I sat in a DeLorean for the first time. I remember walking toward the Institute of Future Technology and hearing Huey Lewis's Power of Love, cue Darren singing, and Alan Silvestri's Back to the Future theme playing on the speakers. Getting a close look at one of the screen-used DeLoreans, and totally loving the fact that the pre-ride video that they got the original actors Christopher Lloyd and Lord. Let me correct that. And totally loving the fact that on the pre-ride video, they got the original actors Christopher Lloyd and Thomas F. Wilson back to add so much realism to the overall atmosphere of the attraction. I can still hear Biff blowing the horn on his car to this day. Darren, tell me what that horn sounds like.
honk.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think that's meant to be dun dun dun.
Oh, well, there you go. I thought that was the car horn. Sorry, Thomas. This is my first ever motion simulator ride, and I started to get very nervous after the first few seconds of the ride. I remember closing my eyes and burying my face into my older brother's shoulder until the ride was over. All I felt was my body being shaken every which way. After it was over, my heart was beating so fast that I stood up from the car to get out, and my legs were shaking. And I was mad at myself for allowing that to happen. I begged my brother to ride it again, and it was a long wait because we didn't have express passes back then. You darn kids with your express passes. And we did, but this time with my eyes open, and what an experience it was. An amazing film franchise, and what a fantastic tribute this attraction was to those films. I do plan one day to make it to Universal Studios Japan to ride it again, along with another ride about a giant fish. Remember, the future is what you make it. Hasta la bye-bye.
I'd forgotten it was still in Japan.
Uh-huh.
Jaws and Back to the Future are still in Japan.
Yeah.
You know, you want to know what I wanted for my 40th birthday?
A trip to Japan.
Yes, please.
I haven't got that much money. You're already going to Orlando next
I didn't
year.
say you were coming with me.
Oh, okay.
I can afford for one.
I'll stay in Orlando for a bit then.
I've got one. I have Claire Goodwin. Hi guys, so glad you're doing a Back to the Future The Ride special, as this ride is one that predominantly sticks in my memories from my childhood. I got in my DeLorean time machine for the first time at 7 years old in 1993, and then again in 1995, 1997, 1999, 2001, and unknowingly for the last time in 2003. When the ride closed in 2007, I had already booked to go in August and couldn't believe it was closed just 5 months prior. R.I.P. Back to the Future The Ride was, to me, absolutely the best riding experience. It was something that my family always talked about going on beforehand, and then couldn't shut up about it afterwards. I probably rode it about 3 to 5 times each trip. The most memorable part for me, though, wasn't the actual ride, but the pre-show. Being led into a small room with about 8 of us in. Looking around at the gadgets and cool signs, I was obsessed with the plasma orb that was in the room. At 7 years old, I could swear that I was seeing technology so futuristic I couldn't even comprehend. But wait, Doc Brown personally wants me and my family to help him save the space and time continuum? I'm instantly an empowered 7-year-old girl with a mission, believing in its importance. That's awesome. Back to the present, and even when I sit here writing and remembering, my heart rate has risen and the 7-year-old me is giddy inside me. That is what made this ride the one I will treasure and mourn forever. Hope you enjoy hearing everyone's memories.
Awesome,
that's
everyone.
lovely.
It's good. Everyone's got such memories of
that
it.
one is just, again, I've forgotten about being stood in that little room with the hoverboard.
I remember the hoverboard. I think I've got a picture of the hoverboard.
Yes, why aren't they a thing?
Yeah.
It should be.
Love
now,
it or
shouldn't
hate
it?
it, everybody had you gotta say everybody had a strong opinion about it one way or the other. So it did what it was supposed to. Everybody remembers it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll do it for another episode of the show. Back to the Future: The Ride is gone, but not forgotten. We were able to successfully bump Krusty. And,
I would like to
retain
just
the memory.
Just bump in. I think like everyone complains they've taken out all these old attractions. I don't know what ride technology you would use, but something along the lines of how Hanna-Barbera, the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera, was that it was kind of like a whirlwind tour through all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I wonder if they could do an attraction that basically showcased all the past attractions.
That would be awesome.
So Jaws and Kong and Back to the Future and Hitchcock and Ghostbusters and...
Yeah, I would love that. That would be
Interesting in concept, at least.
Yeah, then you're only putting one attraction in, but still having some reference to all the rides that have been in there.
Yeah, and have it, a simulator type ride that they could update in the future if necessary with new rides. Just keep keep those tributes alive. I think that's a great idea.
Personally, I'd rather see just maybe that could be at the end of just a kind of memorabilia museum. I'd love to see just something like that.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
We always want our boneyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the sound of
All
it.
right. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so join us again next week for another podcast. For Lee, Tracy, and Hunter, I'm Darren, and this has been the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Good night, Internet.
I'm sorry, these theme park rides are just too darn loud.
That does it for another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Between shows, we'd love for you to get in touch. So email us with your spews, funny schmitz, comments, questions, and news to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Keep up with what's going on every day by following us on Twitter @UUOPodcast and follow Eric in the Parks @UUOPEric. Like our Facebook page at facebook.com/UUOPodcast. Follow us on Instagram and Pinterest @UUOPodcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/UUOPodcast. And don't miss a show by subscribing to us on iTunes, and please leave us a review. Not an Apple user? Then head over to uuopodcast.libsyn.com and subscribe to the feed while you're there. You can also find us on Stitcher Radio and at micepod.com. Come find us on our partner site, micechat.com, join the forums, and say hello. So thanks for listening, and remember, be adventurous.
This has been a micepod.com presentation.
MiceChat.com